Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in today. My name is Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. I'm coming to you live from Libby Field in Weymouth, Massachusetts. Here to bring you live coverage of today's high school varsity baseball contest between the hosting Wildcats of Weymouth High School and the visiting Brookline High Warriors. We started about 15 minutes early for this one, so I'm caught a little flat-footed here to start, but we are just getting things underway here in the top of the first. Brookline's leadoff hitter, Elias Brendel, currently at the plate with a full count as he swings and misses for strike 3. So we start things off with a K here, as now we move on to Brookline's second hitter, the second baseman, number 2, Hugh Bollinger. Checks his swing there for a high ball 1. The Weymouth starter on the bump today, number 11, Ryan Gildea. That one catches the outside corner for strike 1. I think I can still zoom this in just a smidge more, a little less. There we go. And Bollinger hits a hard one, skips past the shortstop and into left. That one might go down as a single or an E6. You know, we'll see how it gets scored when we double check Game Changer later tonight. But for now, Brookline has got a runner aboard, and now coming up, the catcher, number 8, Felix Hom. Sorry, folks, I'm a little sloppy to start today. Like I said, they caught me starting this game 15 minutes faster than I expected them to. Runner at first, 0-1 the count to Hom. And a timeout was called, so that pitch does not count. Going to reset that one. You can see Hom's stats for the season at the bottom of your screen. So far, he's got a batting average of .241, an on-base percentage of .371, slugging percentage 345, leads the team in doubles with 3, hits a grounder there, chased down by the shortstop, and they go to second to catch Bollinger on the fielder's choice. That one looked like it was going to be close. Slightly deep ground ball by Hom, and Bollinger got a good break on it, but well secured by the shortstop, number 3, Andrew Daly, for Weymouth. Now with 2 down and a runner at first, up comes the shortstop, number 5, Jimmy DiPaolo. Courtesy runner for Felix Hom at first is number 3, Devin Shin, as DiPaolo takes a low ball 1. And he lifts one out to center, and it is caught by the center fielder for out number 3. Sorry, the outfield's going to be shooting right into the sun there, so that's going to be fun for any deep shots there, but you know what? That's just the trials and tribulations of shooting here at Libby Field, and we're going to work through it. So here we go. We move to the bottom of the first here. Brookline gets 1 runner on, but nothing further. And now they take to the field. Their starting pitcher for today, number 17, Nikolai Rabiner. You can see Rabiner's stats so far this season. He's made 4 previous starts on the mound for Brookline. He's got a 1-1 win-loss record, a team-high 18.2 innings pitched, and a team-leading ERA of 1.13, boosted significantly by a stellar 6 shutout inning performance that he had last Monday against Boston Latin School. He's got a whip of 1.61 and a team-leading 21 strikeouts, 10 of those strikeouts coming on Monday. So he is riding high off a strong performance last week. We'll see if he can follow that up quickly. I'm going to read through the rosters Actually, no, not going to have time. We're going right. We just finished the warm-ups. Like I said, I'm playing from behind a little bit today, folks. And, we'll catch up as we go. Now batting for the Wildcats, the designated hitter, number 15, Will Pratt. First pitch from Rabiner is outside for ball 1. These two teams faced off in Brookline last year on May 1st, 2024. Weymouth getting the 6-2 win as that second pitch to Pratt outside again, ball 2. That one there does hit the zone, strike 1. Pratt did not appear in last year's game against Brookline, as that one is going to miss high and got past everybody there, ball 3. 3-1 now the count here to Pratt. And that one's going to miss. It's a wild pitch, ball 4. And Pratt's just going to trot down to first. Now batting for Weymouth, the shortstop, number 3, Andrew Daly. Daly did play against Brookline last year. He went 0 for 3 at the plate with a hit-by pitch. And he hits a hard grounder past third into left off the first pitch he sees. A clean single for Andrew Daly. A free pass and a well-hit ball gets Weymouth off to a hot start here in the bottom of the first. Now batting the center fielder, number 8. I believe the name is Johnny Pyers. Or it might be Perez, I'm not sure. Takes a high ball 1 there. Did not play against Brookline last year, as that one misses high and away. And of course, Rabiner did not appear, as he was not on the varsity team for Brookline last year. The young sophomore has made quite an impact in his first varsity season this year, as that one just barely avoids a hit-by pitch, but does not curve enough to get into the zone. That's going to be ball 3. That one does hit the zone as Pyers takes all the way. And that one's going to be a low ball 4. I had the jersey number wrong. It's number 2, not number 8. But either way, bases loaded and nobody out for Weymouth. A shaky start to the day for Rabiner with 2 free passes. Now batting for the Wildcats, the catcher, number 7. I believe it's Devin Kelch. First pitch tipped into the glove, strike 1. No Devin played last year for Weymouth, as that one curves nicely into the zone, strike 2. Rabiner attacking here after struggling with his placement the first couple of batters. This one lifted up to center field. Brendel is under it, has the catch, runner tags, heads for the plate, and beats the throw home. Weymouth first on the board off the sac fly. And it's now a 1-0 game as Pratt comes in to score. Now batting the right fielder, number 16, Alex Munchbach. First pitch sliced foul for strike one. And a pickoff attempt at second, but Daly gets back safe. Still an 0-1 count, one out, runners at first and second. That one's going to be a high ball one. A different Munchbach. Cam Munchbach played last year, as this one is dropped shallow up the third base side and fielded in foul territory by Owen Hoffman. That was looking like an infield hit for sure. Not sure if this is a different Munchbach or if there's just a nickname change or something, but Cam Munchbach last year went 1 for 2 with a double, a walk, a steal, 2 runs scored, and 2 RBI for Weymouth. That one is going to miss for ball 2. 2-2, the count to Munchbach here. Hits a hard grounder, goes off the face of Owen Hoffman. That's going to count as a fair ball as he's going to sit down and wait to get looked at. That's going to go as an infield single for Munchbach. And that will reload the bases. And as they take a look at Owen Hoffman, make sure he's okay. We got someone joining me on the mic here, having braved the awful traffic from Weymouth, from Brookline out here to Weymouth, as Owen Hoffman is coming off the field, actually. That's a tough potential loss for Brookline. You know, certainly hope he's okay, certainly hope it's just precautionary. It did hit him right in the head there. He's holding his head, so they're not going to fool around. They're going to check on him, make sure he is okay. He is walking off on his own, which is at least a good sign there. But joining me on the mic now, and I didn't have because we started a little earlier than expected, I didn't have a chance to test out his mic, so I'm hoping it works right off the bat. But joining me here, Brookline High sophomore Nico Wise. Nico, thanks for joining me here today.
Thank you, Jesse. And traffic not always on your side, and today it wasn't, but not the strongest start here for Brookline. But you know, early into the inning, and think Brookline didn't really get the result they wanted in their last game to Cambridge, a team that most folks expected them to win. But we'll see here if they're able to continue and have a momentum build off that game and try to gain some momentum right here.
All right, it's pitcher against pitcher here as Ryan Gildea fouls that one off for strike one. Gildea did not appear in last year's game against Brookline. That one was a 6-2 loss in Brookline as Gildea takes strike two there. Rabiner, after giving up a free pass to 2 of the first 3 batters he faced, he's been doing much better at hitting the zone with his pitches. That one just a bit low, ball 1.
Yeah, Robert doing well. You know, as a young pitcher, he's done well after a shaky start, getting back into his momentum. We know how strong of a pitcher he's been so far this season, and he's looking to continue that.
That one tipped by Gildea, so he stays alive at 1-2. And, you know, Nico, this is always the burden of any defensive player. It's like you can keep having great performance after great performance, but all it can take is one shaky performance for things to potentially go sideways. But things go a little sideways. I don't think anyone expected things to go in that direction as they call the strike there. It looks like almost both offense and defense were expecting a ball on that one.
Yeah, you know, luck on the Warrior side here, and he got a little break with bases loaded here. This is a big character building moment for Rabiner here. See if he's able to escape here. This is big.
First pitch there is going to hang high and away for ball 1. At the plate now for the Wildcats, the left fielder, number 10, Dan Dreyfus. Bases still loaded, but 2 down now, as Rabiner trying to escape the jam with minimal damage, as that one sliced foul for strike 1. 1 run in so far off the sac fly from Kelch that drove in Pratt, and trying to get Dreyfus out to escape the inning. That one gonna miss, ball 2.
Yeah, even here, if you're Rabiner, you don't even want to have a potential walk. Got to go for a strikeout here with 2 outs. Can't let anything happen here. Dangerous scenario here for Brookline.
And he blows a fastball by him for strike 2. Big strike get there. Dreyfus last year against Brookline went 1 for 4 with an RBI. He's hoping to get one in this situation, but Rabiner hoping to get a big third out. Just missed. And we've seen a lot of close pitches early in this one, and now a very important one coming up. Hits a grounder through the gap, and that is going to bring in at least 1. They're going to try and bring in 2, and they're going to beat the throw home, and the throw actually gets away. They're going to try for 3 on the throwing error, and 3 runs come in. Dreyfus clears the bases as he drives in 2 pretty clean, and then 1 comes in on the error.
Yeah, really unlucky there. Bollinger was right there, almost got his glove and the ball inside of the glove, but just couldn't get there. And Brookline's decent effort, but just not how you wanted. You were right there, full count to end off the inning, but Rabiner got to shake that off and just get out of this inning. Already down 4 for Brookline.
And this one is going to be lifted high into shallow left, and Jimmy DiPaolo tracks that one as number 13 Ryan Ferguson pops out to end the inning. But Brookline in an early hole here, 4-0 at the end of 1. And during this break between the first and second inning, I'd like to take a moment to do something I normally would have done during pregame, but like I said, we started early, kind of threw us off our rhythm. And I'd like to take this moment to thank our sponsor for today, Esch Dental. Esch Dental, located in Coolidge Corner. You can book your next dental appointment with local dentist and BHS baseball parent Dr. Brandon Esch for the non-corporate, personalized dentistry our community deserves. Call 617-566-0103 or go online to eschdental.com to find out more and book your appointment. Once again, 617-566-0103 or go online to eashdental.com. All that information in the description section down below. We move now to the top of the second. Gildea back on the mound for Weymouth, as for Brookline, the 5, 6, 7 hitters coming up. Eli Hoffman, Lincoln Hafner, and Adam Rosenblatt. First up for Brookline, the right fielder, number 4, Eli Hoffman. As we got a brief time as they're discussing something.
Both coaches came over to discuss something, not sure, but
yeah, hard to say. It might, maybe something in reference to subbing for Owen Hoffman, who came out with an injury in the bottom of the first after a hard hit grounder took a bounce off his face, and again, hopefully he is all right.
Yeah, got the ice pack in hand, but tough loss here for Brookline if he's not able to continue today. He's such a big factor as a veteran presence for this Brookline side.
Well, his younger brother lifting one high out to right field, and it's going to be caught for out number 1. All right, one down. Now coming up, the designated hitter, number 1, Lincoln Hafner. First pitch tips it into the glove, strike one. Hafner has had a pretty strong start to the season, 6 for 18, 2 doubles, 1 hit by pitch, 3 runs scored, and 3 RBI. As he takes strike 2 there, but been in and out of the lineup, and so he's been hot and cold at different points throughout the season.
Yeah.
That one right in the zone, 3 pitches, 3 strikes, and Gildea gets his second K of the day.
Yeah, Hafner not happy with himself there. He saw that opportunity and he knew he should have swung there, but unlucky here for Brookline, digging a deeper hole. They really need to get something going here for this Brookline offense.
First pitch there is going to be outside for ball 1 at the plate. The first baseman, number 18, Adam Rosenblatt. Rosenblatt takes a low ball 2 there. So far this season, Rosenblatt 2 for 10, 2 walks, 1 steal, 1 run scored, and 1 RBI. And check swing, and that one's in play. And they're trying to let it die on the turf. It just dies in fair territory, and Adam Rosenblatt legs out the infield single.
Man on first, see if they're able to capitalize here.
Apologies, folks. We're having a little bit of a glitch with Nico's mic here. Coming to the plate now with a runner at first and 2 down is the left fielder, number 6, Rasik Waikar, as he took, I'm not sure, it was either ball 1 or strike 1. That one fouled off. Just waiting for the scoreboard to update. There it is. So an 0-2 count to Waikar. And we might just have to fiddle around with the mic between, in the break between the top and bottom half of the inning. And that's going to come right now as Waikar down on strikes. 2 Ks in the inning for Gildea. And that will end the top of the second. Weymouth still up over Brookline 4-0. And bear with us a sec, folks, as Nico's just going to, give me a mic check and just continue talking while I try and adjust the mic to see if it works. Here we go.
Yeah, Jesse, Brookline, not really what they wanted. Really needed to get something here, but seeing the bench here trying to just encourage Rabber to have a strong start to this inning here, and this game could get at it so quickly here, down. And if you're on this Weymouth side, you're just really going to be telling your team, keep attacking. You had the early bases loaded that worked really well for them, and they were able to get 3 runs and ended up getting a 3 off that, and then to 4. And Brookline's their outfield defense just has to be solid, grounding those balls and getting them over, and not allowing anything here for Brookline is going to be really key if they want to have a chance to get back into this game.
All right, we got our noise fixed up here. As now we head into the bottom of the second. Rabiner back on the mound, hoping to bounce back after a shaky first inning that allowed 4 runs, 3 of them earned, as one kind of scored on an error as a throw bounced past Felix Hom, attempting to go home there. Now the last batter at the bottom of the order for Weymouth, the second baseman, number 12, Adrian Alvarez, as he takes a high ball 1. Hits a chopper over to third, fielded cleanly, thrown to first, and that one is there for out number 1. I'm going to try and see if I can spot. That is number 13, Turner Hafner, who is manning the hot corner for Brookline, making a nice play there.
Yeah, it did well getting that ball over for the first out here for Brookline. Solid start here for Brookline.
Now we cycle back to the top of the order with the designated hitter, number 15, Will Pratt. Pratt drew a walk to lead off the top of the first, and later came in to score the first run of the ball game on a sac fly. Takes high ball one there. Swing and a miss on that one for strike one.
Yeah, Rabiner doing a good job keeping his character, keeping his cool, and trying to get back into this game after a shaky last inning.
That one gets away from Hom. Ball two.
Yeah, unfortunately here, Jesse, looks like some possible medical attention here.
Oh my
Coming
goodness.
to look in at Owen.
Yeah, we're
Just
seeing some
brutal.
members of the Weymouth Fire Department showing up in the Brookline dugout to take a look at Owen Hoffman as this one is lifted into shallow center, and DePaulo reaching out as far as he could over his shoulder for the catch. Highlight-worthy snag there for the Brookline shortstop.
Yeah, great athleticism there from DePaulo, just reaching his hand out, prayer, and he got that one, and good start here from the Brookline outfield. 2 outs so far.
And excellent tracking, as it can be so hard when you're looking over your shoulder to make that kind of grab.
Plus with the sun in your eyes, too. You know.
Well, that's fortunately for him, the sun is in the batter's eyes right now.
Yeah.
But you're right that he turns around, starts running, and that sun is immediately in his eyes, and he has to turn it back over his shoulder so the light kind of fades in and out when you're turning like that. Oh, that's a hit by pitch. Unfortunate for Rabiner. Had a 2-1 count with 2 down, and Beans Daly there, who will reach first base for the second time today after he got a single his last time up. Now coming up, the center fielder, number 2, Johnny Pyers. First pitch big, swing and a miss, strike one. Pyers drew a walk his last time up, later came in to score. Each of the first 3 hitters for Weymouth scoring as they try a pickoff throw at first, no dice, and that's going to be a high ball one on the pitch itself. Another pickoff throw, bad hop, but well blocked by Rosenblatt, as if that gets away from him, potential for Daly to go to second.
Yeah, Daly's looking for it here. He wants it.
Boy, that one almost another hit by pitch as that got away from Rabiner. The pitch has just been kind of getting away from him. He hasn't had the usual good control that he's had in previous starts so far in this one.
Yeah, just got to calm himself down, get into character.
That one is going to miss high, ball 3. 3-1, the count to Pyers, 2 down, runner at first. And pops that one out to left. And it's going to be caught out in left field for out number 3. And
oh no, Jesse, is that the...
Oh no.
That's...
Oh, they're bringing out... This field, you know what, I will say, just to be as optimistic as possible, this feels precautionary.
Yeah.
This feels highly precautionary, but at the same time, you can't help but worry when you see paramedics coming out with a stretcher, and unfortunately that is the situation here for Brookline co-captain Owen Hoffman, as they're probably just trying to minimize the movement. When you take a baseball to the head like that, you never want to mess around with anything with the head. You never want to mess around. There's a lot of sensitive stuff up there, and you want to be as careful as possible. They're just taking a look at him for now. And hopefully he's okay, we're not doctors, but he's in the hands of capable medical professionals. So, they're the ones who are going to focus on that. And for now, we're going to focus on what we can focus on for our profession right now, which is this ball game. And so, for now, stepping to the plate for Brookline is going to be number 13, Turner Hafner. First pitch fouled off, strike one. This is just the second plate appearance of the season so far for Turner Hafner as he's subbed in at third for Hoffman, who now appears to be getting a brace around his neck as Hafner fouls that one into the backstop. So again, they're being they don't want any movement there, don't want to shake anything around up top if they can help it. Is that one inside for ball one?
Yeah, I mean, take all the precautions you want. Don't want to risk anything else, but it just has to be such a brutal loss here for this Brookline side. But see if they're gonna be able to rally and get something here for Brookline, as they have an uphill battle here from the down 4.
That's going to be strike 3 for Hafner. First out of the inning here, as now we cycle back to the top of the order with the center fielder, number 9, Elias Brendel. Brendel went down on strikes his last time up, and he takes strike 1 there. As that one misses high and out for ball 1, but Gildea, pretty strong performance so far. He's struck out 3 of the last 4 batters he has faced. That one going to skip in the turf for ball 2. And they're going to call a timeout here to allow the paramedics to take Hoffman off the field and most likely take him to the nearby hospital to be examined, probably get a CT scan of his head, make sure that there's, nothing wrong, no damage to his skull, no internal bleeding or anything in that. Just, again, purely precautionary. There's a lot of bad stuff that can happen to the head. That didn't look that bad, but you've got to be careful with the head, is what I'm going to say as a total layman on this subject, Take everything I say with a grain of salt, because Lord knows I know about maybe 10% of what I'm talking about in this kind of area.
Yeah, totally. And with all sports, anything that has to do anything with the head, it's most cautious part of your body, and you just have to take all precautions. And for a fan, and honestly anyone here watching this game, it's what you want to see, being taken those precautions.
Elias Brendel goes down swinging, another strikeout for Gildea. Now 2 down for Brookline, as up comes the second baseman, number 2, Hugh Bollinger. So 4 of the last 5 Brookline hitters have gone down on strikes, and the only hit they got was that weird check swing dribbler by Adam Rosenblatt that just barely stayed fair, as the fielders just kind of watched it, hoping it would go foul. But Bollinger rips one out to center, but unfortunately for him, right at the center fielder. And that is going to be out number 3. I hope you guys are able to see it when the ball gets hit out to center field, because, boy, that sun out there is brutal. Brookline down in order in the top of the 3rd.
Yeah, as you say here with Bollinger, a lot of these, as we get into the warmer weather, these balls go further, and it's easier to make contact and easier for the balls to go further. And I think we can see pretty early into this game how a lot of these shots into center field and left and right field have gone further than we typically expect.
Yeah, that's a good point there, Nico, because one of the things I noticed is that we are playing this game on a turf field, which normally can give a big advantage to the defense because ground balls in the infield are less likely to take weird hops, but we haven't really seen any kind of, fieldable ground balls today. I mean, there's been, I think, two ground outs between these two teams all day. Everything else has either been in the air or on the ground through the gap, or a grounder that was so hard that the fielder didn't really have a good chance of stopping it. But 4-0 is the Weymouth lead. That 4-run first inning still responsible for the only runs on the board for either side, as it'll be the 4, 5, 6 hitters, and I wish this bee would leave us alone. It's one thing after another here in Weymouth for us today. Boy, if it's not the early start, if it's not the traffic, if it's not the mic, it's the local bug life giving us all kinds of fun here at Libby Field as we start the bottom of the third inning. First pitch curves in nicely for a strike at the plate for Weymouth, the catcher, number 7, Devin Kelch. Kelch had a sac fly to center his last time up, fouls that one to the backstop for strike 2.
Yeah, Nikolai just got to keep up his momentum from last inning and just continue what he's done, as the early inning wasn't the best of what he wanted here, but last inning was pretty solid for him in this Brookline outfield. Just got to keep it up, and then this Brookline offense just has to step it up and get some innings, as they already have an uphill battle for him.
This one a hard shot over the shortstop's head into left center, and that's going to go for a leadoff single for Kelch. And Weymouth will have a man on to start the inning.
Yeah, DePaulo trying to reenact the catch he had earlier in this game, but just a little too high, and it goes out.
And now with a runner on first, up comes the right fielder, number 16, Alex Munchbach. First pitch skips in the turf for ball 1, well blocked by Felix Hom behind the plate. His role becomes that much more important with a man on base, as anything that gets past him gives Kelch a free pass to second, but they're going to try and catch him at first. No dice there. And Rabener's got to be careful with these pickoff throws. He likes to throw them low for a quick tag for the first baseman, but turf can bounce things fast. It doesn't bounce things at a weird trajectory, but it can bounce them fast and quickly get away from you if you're not careful.
Yeah, that's important to note. As grass, you can kind of have those weird bounces, but it kind of gives you a softer bounce. But with the turf, it's a little fast. And again, Brookline goes out, and Weymouth has 2 now on bases on first and second.
Single through the gap by Munchbach, as again the fast bounce of the turf pays off on a well-hit ball by the Wildcats. Runners at first and second. Up comes the pitcher, number 11, Ryan Gildea. First pitch inside, ball 1. Gildea, his last time up, went down on strikes for the second out of that first inning. Once again, he comes up with multiple runners on. This time hits a chopper. It's past Rabener, fielded by Bollinger, throw to first. They just go for the batter that time, as that was a slow high bouncer that left no opportunity to try and get the lead runners. Almost kind of worked like a sacrifice bunt almost by Gildea. 1 out, runners now at second and third, as up comes the big hitter of that first inning, number 10, Dan Dreyfus. Had a 2-run single that actually got 3 runs in thanks to an error. But the first 2 runs came in clean off a hard-hit single, and here he comes up with 2 runners in scoring position.
Yeah, not what you want here for Brookline. Only 1 out here, and anything I feel like with contact with them is going to allow for a run here for Weymouth. So Rabener got to be safe. 0-2 count here, but can't get too special here. Needs that third.
Brookline has got 3 of their 4 infielders pulled in on that green edge on the turf, as this is a slow roller up the first base side, and it's foul. That could have been an interesting play as Dreyfus was outrunning the grounder there, which would have made a tough play for Rosenblatt, and it might have been an interesting play at the plate there, as of course Brookline has pulled in their infielders to cover a potential play at the plate should a ground ball be hit. Swing and a miss, big strikeout for Rabiner to get the second out.
Yeah, big there from Ravener, and still here, man on third and second. But Ravener's done well with these strikeouts here in this early part of the game, and he still can't get too happy yet. If you're Brookline, 1 out still needed.
Good block by Felix Hom on that low ball one. At the plate now, the third baseman, number 13, Orion Ferguson. Ferguson popped out to short to end the first inning. Now up with 2 down once again, and runners at second and third. That one hits the zone, strike one. 1-1 the count to Ferguson. That one low and away, ball 2. And that one way high and fast, but Hom again doing a good job keeping that ball from getting past him so far this inning. But now a 3-1 count to Ferguson.
Yeah, a little crazy there on that last pitch from Radmer. Just got to calm it down here.
And he induces a pop-up into shallow center. And DiPaolo has got it for out number 3. So Rabiner, after a shaky start to the innings, settles in and, you know, seems to be turning back into the jam escaper that we typically know him to be from previous outings, as he leaves 2 runners stranded in scoring position that inning. And really, outside of that one big swing from Dreyfus back in the first inning, you take that away, you turn that into an out. This would be a 1-run ball game still at the end of 3, but that's just the difference that it can be in baseball.
Yeah, Brookline just really fighting here. And last 2 innings, Nikolai Ravener's given Brookline a boost here. And this Brookline offense just has to do something here. Got to get some runs here as at top of the 4th. Still just getting into this later part, as we know, for high school games, only 7 innings. And Brookline just got to get something rolling here. Your pitcher's done well to get you out your last 2 innings, but you really just got to capitalize here.
Okay, sorry folks, we're having a little trouble with the Wi-Fi, because if it's not one thing today, it's another. But I think I'm not even sure how long we were out. This has been a brutal day for the technology so far, unfortunately. Thankfully, I am recording this at the same time that I am live streaming it, so goodness. Again, apologies for all the technical difficulties today, folks, as the Wi-Fi has now, we can now add on top of on top of the early start, the traffic, the mic, the bees. We've also got the Wi-Fi. Leading off for Brookline here in the top of the 4th inning, the catcher, number 8, Felix Hom, as he takes strike 1 there and might try and switch networks here, as we're not getting, we don't seem to be getting any connection at all. Gonna try to connect to something different. See if we can get that going. 0-1 the count to Hom. That one also going to hit the zone, strike 2. 0-2 the count. Hom hits a hard grounder over to short, fielded clean. Throw is high, and Hom is going to reach on the air. He's going to try for second. Catcher doing a great job backing it up. The throw down, dives in for the slide, and they got him at second. Felix Hom initially reached on an E6, but a great backup job by the catcher. Gets the first out of the inning.
Yeah, good recovery there from Weymouth. Had the unlucky start at first base, but Felix Hom decides to risk it and go out to second. But great job from the catcher there, getting out, and a perfect pass out to second to get the first out for Weymouth at the top of the fourth.
Yep, any Little Leaguers watching that play, that is why the coaches always tell you to know where you're supposed to move on any given play, because even if the ball isn't in your area, you could still have an important role as a backup man if things go awry, and that is what the catcher Kelch did there for the Wildcats. Jimmy DiPaolo now at the plate, and he's got a 3-0 hitters count here with one out. And that one is going to be strike one. For a second, DiPaolo thought he had a 4-pitch walk, but no dice. Fouls that one off. Strike two. And payoff pitch is fouled off. DiPaolo stays alive with a full count at 3-2 as I continue to battle the Wi-Fi here and try and get us back live for people want to watch it in the moment. This has been a rough one, and I apologize, folks. Okay, looks like we're connected again. My goodness, that was a rough one. It's been a rough game on several levels, and DiPaolo hits a rough shot deep out to center. Center fielder going back out of his reach, and DiPaolo's got extra bases as he digs down to third. They hit the cutoff man, slide in, and he's safe. Jimmy DiPaolo with a one-out triple to deep center.
Yeah, we talked about that weather being able to hit these balls further, and DiPaolo, perfect right there, almost a home run. But we talked about in these past few games, Jesse, that sometimes when you have like a 3-0 count and you think you get the walk, it kind of throws off your mentality. And
well, right now Brookline's got a run as Eli Hoffman comes through with the RBI single to right. Jimmy DiPaolo trots home, and two big swings of the bat put Brookline on the scoreboard here. Boy, they didn't even want to wait to let you finish your point there, Nico. So rude of them. But Brookline on the board here is a low swing there for strike one. At the plate here is the designated hitter, number 1, Lincoln Hafner. Hafner went down on strikes his last time up. That ball is outside. They try for a pickoff throw, and they miss badly. And Hoffman is going to take off for second. And he is lucky at several levels there. They actually caught him leaning away from the bag. And so it looks like the perfect time to try a pickoff throw. And it ends up going disastrously for the Wildcats as Eli Hoffman gets to go to second for free.
yeah, Warriors doing a good job just trying to climb back into this game. Got a man on second and only one out right now. Looking pretty solid here for Brookline after a little shaky start in the first few innings.
2-1 is now the count to Lincoln Hafner, who's now got a runner in scoring position, and he launches a high shot deep out to left center. They're going back towards the wall. It's caught out in left by Dreyfus, and Hoffman going to head down to third. And so that'll be 2 down. Weymouth's going to try their hand at tagging second, and the ump signals that Hoffman did tag up properly, so the fly out to deep left by Lincoln Hafner does advance the runner. And now with a runner at third and 2 down, up comes the first baseman, number 18, Adam Rosenblatt, as he takes strike one.
Yeah, Rosenblatt just trying to get something here, get Hoffman home to cut their Weymouth lead in half here. This would be really important.
We got a timeout here as a bullpen ball kind of got away and into the field. So, whoops. Rosenblatt got a bit of a accidental infield single his last time up, a check swing that almost turned into a bunt up the first base line. Takes strike two there, and he's quickly in the hole here, 0-2 with 2 down. He wants to try and bring Eli Hoffman home from third if he can, but he's got to get the bat on the ball if he wants to do that. That one gets away from the catcher, and Hoffman is going to come in himself. Eli Hoffman in to score on the wild pitch. And just like that, Brookline has cut Weymouth's lead in half here in this 4th inning.
Yeah, that's really this momentum booster that Brookline needed, and Hoffman using his speed, getting home before the catcher was able to tag up there.
Rosenblatt fouls this one off, stays alive at 1-2, and yeah, Eli Hoffman has really had the speed to take advantage of the defensive gaffes on the throws by Weymouth here in this inning. The erroneous pickoff throw by the catcher, and then the wild pitch there. Rosenblatt lifts one into shallow left center, looks like. And that one actually carried further than I think either me or the fielder was expecting, but Dreyfus able to backtrack just enough to make that catch for out number 3. But Brookline gets 2 on the board in the top of the 4th. They're not backing down just yet. Our score going into the bottom half of the inning, Weymouth 4, Brookline 2. And it all started with that big crack of the bat from Jimmy DiPaolo for the triple to deep left field. And, you know, going back to what we were talking about with the defensive fundamentals, you think about it, if the catcher, Devin Kelch, is not doing such a perfect backup job on the erroneous throw to first by the shortstop on Felix Ham's grounder, then this would be a 1-run game, because Ham would have come in on DiPaolo's triple, and then DiPaolo would have come in off Hoffman's single, and then Hoffman comes in himself. This would be a 4-3 ball game. So that literally saved a run, that backup play by the Weymouth catcher. So we had some notes earlier in the live chat that unfortunately I wasn't. Okay, a little more action on this first base side of the stands as a warm-up throw missed badly, and thankfully it didn't hit anybody. But as I was saying, we got some notes in the live chat. Alan Rosenblatt saying hi, Jesse, from Ellen and Alan Rosenblatt from Lennox. Go Adam and go Brookline. Cheryl Bollinger saying hi, Jesse. San Diego signed in for the game. Mary Walker saying grandma from Groton, New York, tuning in. Go Brookline. So we got a number of our regulars here as the first pitch is going to be a dribbler. Goes past Rabiner. Bollinger charging in and makes the throw.
Yeah, good job there from Hugh Bollinger. Coming in, grabbing it, throwing it to first to get the first out here for Brookline. And this outfield in center field on these base and just working well here for Brookline, and started off struggling a little bit, but in these later innings they've been pretty solid in keeping this game of a 4-2 game for Brookline here.
Now batting the designated hitter, number 15, Will Pratt, as he takes strike one after it was Alvarez who grounded out to start the inning. Got a brief disconnect to the Wi-Fi again, because why should anything be easy today? And this one's a chopper foul up the third base side. And that one is strike 3. And that's 2 down here off the K from Rabiner.
Yeah, a little low there from Rabner, and just number 15 from Weymouth just kind of reaching a little bit, Jesse. With their lead here, there was no need to force anything. That was going to be a pretty easy ball there for Weymouth, but he reached on it, and strike 3. 2 outs already in the bottom of the 4th here. Rabner doing a great job.
That one is low, and we're going to get ball 2 as again the Wi-Fi just throwing fits here. That one's going to be high, and that's going to be ball 3. 3-0 the count with 2 down and looks like a free pass here. Was that a walk? Did they throw ball 4? I'm like looking back and forth between the screens as every time it disconnects, I have to switch to a different network. So that's going to be a walk for Daly. And now up is Johnny Pyers as he takes high ball 1 there from Rabiner. 2 down. Runner at first here in the bottom of the 4th. Weymouth leading Brookline 4-2. Pickoff attempt, and Daly dives back safe. Daly has now reached base safely in each of his first 3 plate appearances, all with a different method. He's had a single, a hit by pitch, and a walk, as that one is going to miss low for ball 2 to Pyers. 2-0 now the count.
Yeah, Rabner, we know the escape artist he is, and with 2 outs here, trying to continue his reputation.
Runner taking off for second, and it's a hit and run with Pyers, but it looks like Brendel is under it in center field for out number 3.
Yeah, 4 pretty solid innings here from Rabner after a shaky start, and he's continued his reputation as the escape artist at the end of innings, and Brookline's offense, after a finally good inning last inning, trying to continue this momentum. Still down 2, but looks like they've got the momentum here.
And now during this break between the 4th and 5th inning, I'd like to take a moment to once again thank our sponsor for today, Esch Dental. Do you have a tooth that's been worked on once, twice, 3 times, and it's still giving you problems? Have you been told it's time to give up the fight on that tooth and have it extracted? Hey, it happens to a lot of us. Dr. Esch performs a multitude of procedures to get that infected tooth out and an implant in. All of Dr. Esch's implants are digitally guided, which means the surgery takes place on a digital model of your jaw even before your appointment. Digital implant placement is the safest, fastest, most predictable way to turn that problem tooth into a fixed and beautiful solution. Call 617-566-0103 or go online to eschdental.com to find out more and book your appointment. Once again, 617-566-0103 or go online to easchdental.com. All that information in the description section down below. So we move to the top of the 5th, and for Brookline, it'll be the 8-9-1 hitters, Wykar, Turner, Hafner, and Brendel. Looks like Brookline's got a little bit of action going on in the bullpen. As you get deeper into the game, Rabiner has rebounded nicely after a tough first inning, but you got to be, keep an eye on that pitch count, as he's had some lengthy innings so far. And you might want to bring in a fresh arm just to keep things fresh as you go deeper into the game. Try and make that comeback.
Yeah, saw Q Miller warming up a little bit. Wonder if he might be getting the start in the 6th. But for now, it's still Rabiner. But Brookline's offense here, got to get some runs here. Still down 2.
Indeed, got to focus on the offense here in the top half of the inning. And at the top of this top half of the inning, it'll be the left fielder, number 6, Rasik Wykar. First pitch drops in on the breaking ball for strike 1. Wykar went down on strikes his last time up, Hasn't had too many plate appearances to his name so far this season, has mostly been used as a courtesy runner as he takes strike 2 there. As Waikar has a lot of the runs scored that would normally go to Felix Hum if he wasn't the catcher for Brookline this season. And he chased that one low, but that might have been smart. Rasik Waikar on the drop third strike, just barely by a step, beats it out. And for a brief moment, they were wondering if he turned left on that, but he turned right, did it correctly, and Rasik Waikar reaching on a drop third strike.
Yeah, with the unfortunate injury here to Owen Hoffman, it gives an opportunity to some of these guys who don't get as much time, and it's a big moment here, getting on first late in this game. And Brookline, strong start to this top of the fifth inning.
And the guy who is getting the opportunity off of Hoffman's injury now at the plate with the third baseman, number 13, Turner Hafner. Waikar at first. Shows bunt, pulls back, and Waikar slipped, but just barely gets back to the bag. And he got lucky there. We've talked about what the surface does to the game. The other thing it can do, it can cause you to, it's harder to change direction. You can get a lot of speed on turf, but it's harder to change direction than it is on normal infield dirt.
Yeah, and Brookline, known for their stealing of bases, but down 2, still no outs, but got to be careful. Can't get too excited here.
1-2 now, the count to Turner Hafner. And that's going to be a pickoff attempt, but Waikar saw it coming all the way. Not the quickest throw it's a new pitcher. Not sure when he took over, but that's number 14, who was not on the roster that I was given for Weymouth. So that's unfortunate, but number 14 on the mound for Weymouth, as that's a high ball too. I'm not sure when he took over, but takes over for Gildea, as that one gonna miss, and Turner Hafner has now got himself a full count. A chance to put its second runner on.
Crucial moments here.
And Hafner lifts one into shallow left. It's going to be taken by the center fielder for out number 1. Waikar is going to go back to the bag. 1 out in the inning. And, sorry, go ahead.
Brendel stepping up to the plate here. We know how good he's been this season. He's just got to get something here. Still down 2. Get some solid contact, either single or double. Just get Waikar out and just hope you're able to get some runs here. Can't leave it all up to the 6th or 7th.
First pitch in the zone for strike 1. Elias Brendel, 0 for 2 so far today with a pair of strikeouts. He's a guy known to be able to take advantage when pitchers lose control and miss the zone, but there's not been a lot of that from the Weymouth pitchers today, as that one misses just a bit outside for ball 1. He does have some pop in his bat up until DePaulo's big swing last inning. He was the only player on the Brookline roster who had a triple so far this season, so we know he can launch it if he gets his pitch and puts the bat on it. But we also know he can take advantage with his patience, as he's now got a 2-1 count.
Yeah, also, as of today, Brendel has had the most plate appearances for Brookline, so we know Brookline likes to use him a lot.
And that one in the zone for strike 2. 2-2 the count. Brendel was trying to kind of squat down, see if he could get that curveball to go over his shoulders, but no dice there. Waikar taking off, and Then that one was strike 3. They're going to throw down to first. And, putting up his hands for timeout. And I think, what I think happened there? I think that was probably a pitch that missed the zone. And Brendel, I don't know what he was thinking. He decided to swing kind of late there. Maybe he was trying to create a better chance for Weikart to steal. He stole successfully either way. And so the home plate umpire asked the infield umpire if Brendel went before or after the pitch, I guess, to see if maybe that was actually a ball. That was weird.
Yeah, some of the things that just happen, you don't really see much, so it's a little confusing even as an umpire.
Now at the plate for Brookline, 2 outs, runner at second. The second baseman, number 2, Hugh Bollinger. That one inside for ball 2. Bollinger, a base hit here, could add to his team-leading RBI count. He's got, I want to say, 5 so far this season to lead the Warriors. And with a runner in scoring position, a big chance to do something here, but he whiffs on that one, strike 1. Bollinger so far today, he has hit what was either a single or an E6 and then flew out to center. And he lifts one out to right here, and it pops out of the right fielder's glove, and that's going to allow Weikart to come in as Bollinger slides into second. That might go down as a 2-base error. I'll have to double check later, but either way, regardless of what it means for the stat sheets, on the most important numbers on the board, it means a lot as Weikart in to score, and it's now a 1-run ball game with a tying run in scoring position for the Warriors.
Yeah, big there from Bollinger. We know how important he is, and now on second base, we know that he's a steal specialist. See if maybe he tries to go for third, but with 2 outs, I don't know if that's going to be the play here for him.
I don't think that's going to be the play. He's got a pretty reliable hitter at the plate here as the catcher, number 8, Felix Hom. At the plate last time up, he almost reached on an E6, but then got thrown out, trying to stretch it out to second on the throwing error. Takes ball 2 there. It's a 2-0 count. Hom, he is right up there in the top ranks of RBI for Brookline this season. I believe he's got 4. Big swing and a miss there for strike 1. But a big chance to bring one in here.
Yeah, and as you said, if he's able to get something on base here, you got DePaulo who had the triple earlier. He'd be up next for Brookline, which would be pretty big if you would have 1 or 2 people on bases here for Brookline, but Chin, 3-1 count here.
3-1, the count to Hom, yeah. With Bollinger at second. 2 down here in the top of the 5th. Meeting between catcher and pitcher here. In a tight spot late in this ball game. Brookline trying to complete the comeback after falling behind 4-0 in the first inning. Could they potentially tie it up here? That one is going to hit the zone for a strike. Bollinger, a delayed takeoff. And they threw him out at third. And Brookline does not agree with that call. They're trying to appeal. And the ump shutting down the appeal pretty quick there. It was a weird delayed takeoff by Bollinger. I'm not sure what the plan there was, as it seemed like, the pitch came in and he took off halfway and then just decided to go all the way after the ball was already firmly in the catcher's glove. That was a strange choice. Give him credit, he made it close at third, but ultimately could not get it.
Yeah, we talked about him being a base stealing specialist, but obviously we're not in the exact angle, but from my eyes, I thought he might have gotten there. But at the end of the day, it's an out, and Brookline did well getting one run there, still down one, but Rabner's got to close out this inning pretty well for Brookline here, as he's been very, very solid to his former self that we've seen and we know he can be in these past few innings. But if you're Weymouth, you got to get some runs here.
And they're going to stick with Nikolai Rabiner here for his 5th inning of work. After a tough first inning, giving up 4 runs, 3 of them earned. He has since shut down the Weymouth bats. And you know, so now we're going to have the 4, 5, 6 hitters coming up. Devin Kelch, Alex Munchbach, and whoever is subbed in for Ryan Gildea. First pitch is a swing, and it's a pop-up. Rosenblatt calling for it, and he's got it for out number 1. He had to go back and forth for that one, as that was a sky-high ball from Kelch. But 1 pitch, 1 out. Brookline's got to be happy with that. And that's another one where they're lucky that the sun is pointing towards home plate rather than out from behind home plate, as that might have been a tougher grab for Rosenblatt had that been the case. Munchbach hits one foul up the third base side, and that'll be strike 2. 0-2 the count, 1 out, base is empty here. That one is going to be low for ball 1. And folks, I know the Wi-Fi has been considerably bad here today, as that one's going to be ball 2. But don't worry, I am recording this while live streaming it. I'll upload the fully recorded version later tonight. Chases the curveball low for strike 3.
Yeah, I talked about it earlier with Weymouth here, Jesse. I feel like they're just chasing these balls. They're just trying to just get something, as they haven't really had anything going for them since the first on offense. But I don't really see a need for them to chase these balls. A lot of these low balls, there's no need to go for them. But that's another on a 2-out count that they've just, or 2-strike count, they've just swung for it. And I'm not sure if that's hopefully the coaches are talking there for Weymouth, but that's just kind of been a little killer here for Weymouth.
Well, I mean, that's the tough thing when you're behind 2 strikes. You don't want to let anything by you. You want to at least put bat on ball. And when you see a breaking ball, it depends on, you know, how similar the delivery looks to the guy's fastball and, you know, how long before it drops. As that one going to miss just a bit outside for ball 2. It's a 2-2 count to number 14. Who took over on the mound for Gildea, and that one also going to miss just a bit outside. We're going to have a full count here with 2 outs and the base is empty. Swing and a miss as he chased the fastball high. Back-to-back strikeouts from Rabiner as he puts the Wildcats down in order. And at the end of 5, our score, Weymouth 4, Brookline 3. And during this break between the 5th and 6th inning, I'd like to take a moment for a local charity spotlight. You know what? Yeah, let's go with the local charity spotlight. Let's talk about the Brookline Education Foundation. For over 40 years, the Brookline Education Foundation has raised funds to help promote growth and innovation among Brookline educators, which can then be passed on to the children of this community. You know, they give out a variety of grants across the educational landscape. These include Idea Lab grants for teachers that want to present their students with new and exciting projects, and teacher grants for teachers that want to, you know, get extra training and further develop their own skills to bring to the classroom. You can check out the link and phone number for the Brookline Education Foundation, brooklinefoundation.org, as well as their phone number down in the description section down below, as well as, of course, the link and phone number for our local sponsor, Esch Dental, and also a link where you can donate to the Brookline High Baseball Booster Club. So check all that out in the description section down below. In the meantime, number 14 back on the mound after taking over for number 11, Gildea. I want to say last inning, but I might have missed.
Yeah,
at some
I believe
point.
it was start of last inning. They had a little huddle, and I don't think it was really noticeable for us for the first part of that inning.
I mean, this whole game has been so chaotic on so many levels, especially for us here with this broadcast. And I appreciate everyone's patience who's continued to tune in through all the chaos. And it'll be the heart of Brookline's order due up the 3-4-5 hitters. Felix Hom, who was at the plate when Bollinger was caught stealing to end the top of the 5th inning. He'll get to finish his plate appearance. And then after him, it'll be DePaulo and then Eli Hoffman, the two guys who got the scoring started for the Warriors back in the 4th inning. So we'll see what happens here as Hom steps into the box. First pitch going to miss to the outside for ball 1. We are disconnected again. Let's try and switch back and forth, as that one's going to miss for ball 2. 2-0 the count. Hom slices this one foul, strike 1. And yeah, I think dang it, we had just gotten it back. What happened? Nope, we're good here. That one gonna miss inside for ball 3. 3-1. I wanna say is the count. Yep. Whenever I'm fiddling around with the Wi-Fi, I never know if I miss any pitches. And that's going to be a leadoff walk for Felix Hom. That is big for Brookline as they put the tying run on the bases, and they get to sub in their fastest runner as a courtesy runner for their catcher, Devin Chin, now at first with the cleanup hitter coming up, shortstop number 5, Jimmy DePaulo.
Yeah, DePaulo had the big triple, earlier. He's been playing very well. See if he's able to continue his hot streak.
That one just catches the high part of the zone, strike 1. Jimmy DePaulo came into this game leading Brookline in every slash line category, batting average, on-base percentage, and slugging, but only 1 RBI to his name so far this season, as the attempted pickoff is read well by Chin. He gets back, with no real scare there.
Yeah, speedster for Brookline, Chin.
DePaulo tied for the team lead in runs scored, tied Brendel by scoring his 7th run of the season on the RBI single by Eli Hoffman back in the 4th as he takes high ball 1 there. Catcher try to pick off throw, and Chin again getting back safe. 1-1 the count now to DePaulo with no outs here in the top of the 6th. Chin taking off for second, and DePaulo fouls it to the backstop. And that'll be strike 2, and Chin will have to go back to first, and that's rough. He had a great break on that ball, and now they're going to be on the lookout for that. You lose the element of surprise when you're forced to go back on a foul ball.
And especially with a left-handed pitcher, you're able to see that a lot easier.
And that one is a wild pitch, and so Chin gets to take second base anyway. And now the tying run in scoring position for the Warriors.
Yeah, pitcher just trying to just throw some heat, catch DePaulo off guard, but that was just a little too high. And another mistake by Weymouth allows a runner on second for Chin. And DePaulo, this is the guy you want here if you're Brookline in this position, down one.
And that one misses low. Good eye by DePaulo, and he's battled his way to a full count here. Runner at second, 1-run ball game, no outs here in the top of the 6th. Full count to DePaulo. Swing, and he tipped it. DePaulo stays alive as he got a piece of that one. Count still full.
Yeah, you can tell Jimmy just going for power. He wants another one of those big hits like he had earlier this game, and this is a time and place for it to happen here for DePaulo. Full count.
And he skies it. Catcher trying to track it close to the fence. Oh, he lost track of it. Those pop-ups can be so hard to track, especially for a catcher, because you know, the wind can catch that at any second, and you're in all this equipment, and you're already having to spin yourself around right at the start of the play. It can be so disorienting and so hard to track. But DePaulo gets another shot at it. Inside ball 4. DePaulo stays alive with a couple of foul balls and draws a free pass of his own. 2 on for Brookline here with nobody out. And now there's going to be a meeting at the mound. We'll see if they go to the bullpen for the second time today as Eli Hoffman steps to the plate. Hoffman's had a big day already today with that RBI single that got Brookline its first run back in the 4th. Now coming up with the tying run at second and the go-ahead run at first for Brookline. And whoever would have expected after how rough that first inning went for Brookline that they'd be, you know, this tight of a ball game.
Yeah, Jesse, honestly, at least in my personal opinion, beside the 2 times Weymouth has had just a pretty dominant inning, Brookline's really dominated this game, and the score might not show it, but Brookline's really had their number and missed bunt there.
Yep, Eli Hoffman trying to lay down the sacrifice to move the runners along, maybe even see if he could get a bunt single out of it by laying it up the third base side. But no dice as he fouls that one off for strike 1. They might try and have him bunt a second time as he's got a strike to give. They've got the first baseman pulled way in to try and make the play at third, but he pulls back as that's going to be a low ball 1. They're lining up the fielders as if they're trying to get the lead runner. One and one the count. Missed on the bunt completely, strike 2. And now the bunt strategy out the window there, as a fouled bunt with 2 strikes is a strikeout. So Hoffman is going to be forced to swing away here, won't be able to advance the runners on the sacrifice. They've still got the corner infielders pulled in. But Hoffman lifts one out to right center, and it drops! Runners taking off. Devin Chin wheeling around third, going for the tie. Eli Hoffman slides into second, and the other runner slides into third as Devin Chin comes in to score to tie the game, and it's out of play, and DePaulo will come home as well. Eli Hoffman gives Brookline the lead.
Yeah, huge play for Hoffman, the sophomore, coming up strong for Brookline in a scenario down 1. And unbelievable here for Brookline. They've came back down 4, not the start they wanted, but this Brookline side completely dominating in the later part of this game. And Jesse, you can see here, no outs for Brookline, but they've got to keep up. They can't let their foot off the gas here. Still only up 1 here for Brookline, but this is the scenario. This is the dream scenario, Jesse. Down 4. they've completely shut out Weymouth after, and this offense is looking a shell of their former self in this second part of these innings, and they've really just dominated this Weymouth side on the offense.
5 unanswered runs for the Warriors since trailing 4-0 in the first. A spectacular comeback, and Eli Hoffman, he got the scoring started with an RBI single in the fourth, and then I'm not sure what they're going to score that one because it was a well-hit ball into right center. Looked like the center fielder had a chance at it. Couldn't tell if it popped out of his glove or what. So it's going to be hard to tell whether the scorekeepers are going to score that as a hit or an error. And if they do score it as a hit, do they score it as a single or a double? Because Hoffman did take off for second, and he got to second, but only because it looked like the second baseman or the shortstop or whoever it was that got the ball just ignored him and tried to get DiPaolo at third, which ended up backfiring horribly as that throw not only missed third but went out of play, which allowed DiPaolo to come home. And so, it'll be a question whether Eli Hoffman gets 1 or 0 RBI, depending on whether they score that as a fielding error. Definitely a throwing error scored DiPaolo, so Hoffman not going to get the RBI for DiPaolo as he scored on the throwing error, no question. But that's gonna be an interesting thing for me to look at on Game Changer later tonight. But for now, Brookline sitting pretty with the lead for the first time today, and as you mentioned, Nico, no outs and a runner at third, as Eli Hoffman got to go to third on the throwing error.
Yeah, I also want to say here for Weymouth, kind of a recurring factor in this game, these miscommunications on that last play from Hoffman. It looked like the center fielder was right there, going to pick it up, in the right fielder. It was just a miscommunication. I don't know if it was the sun or the communication wasn't there, but I think they were both going for it, and then they both backed off. And just another mistake, and Brookline has taken advantage of that. Now they have the one score lead here, and again, as we mentioned, no outs and a man on third. This is working in Brookline's favor here, and they've really just been the dominating team in the late, excluding the first inning for Brookline. This game has gone in Brookline's favor, and they've just been the dominant team so far.
Now stepping up, the designated hitter, number 1, Lincoln Hafner, as he takes strike one from the new Weymouth pitcher as they sub out number 14. Now coming up number 17, who was listed on the roster, I was given as Owen Schaum. Hafner hits a high bouncer, fielded at third. They hold the runner, throw to first, and that will be the first out. Good fundamentals at third by Ferguson to make sure the runner held. And so it'll now be 1 out. Runner still at third as up comes the first baseman, number 18, Adam Rosenblatt. And he lifts a deep shot out to right center. Going back, and caught! And the runner is going to... Wait, did he drop it? He dropped it?
He dropped it.
Oh my gosh, he dropped it. I thought it was a sac fly, but instead... Adam Rosenblatt going down to second as he drives in Eli Hoffman for Brookline's 6th run.
Again, another outfield mistake for Weymouth, and this Weymouth side is just, the energy is just not there. It was in his hand, he had it, like you said, looking like it was going to be a second out, and he just dropped it.
I was getting ready to give the center fielder credit for making a really nice catch, as that was not going to be an easy grab. He really had to stretch out for it, and look over his shoulder for it. And I was so surprised. It's so hard for me to see into the outfield with the sun staring right at us. I couldn't even tell that he dropped it. All of a sudden, everybody's just screaming, "He dropped it! Keep running!" And Adam Rosenblatt, picked up on the signs and kept on going. And we're going to have a pinch hitter for Brookline here. Now coming to the plate is number 19, Connor Fitzgerald. He'll be batting in the place of Rasik Waikar.
Yeah, I just want to mention here, Jesse, new pitcher on the mound here for Weymouth, number 17,
Yeah, he took over before
Oh, he took
Hafner.
over earlier, yeah. Okay.
Grounder up the middle, fielded it short, thrown to first in time. Fitzgerald out on the 6-3 ground out, but he does move the runner to third. Rosenblatt now 90 feet away from another potential insurance run, as now coming up for Brookline, the third baseman, number 13, Turner Hafner. And he takes strike one there. Adam Rosenblatt standing at third. That one does hit the zone for strike two. 0-2 the count, 2 down here in the top of the sixth. Brookline leading Weymouth 6-4 now after a huge 3 runs scored in this inning so far, as that's going to be a high ball one. And there's going to be some more action in the Brookline bullpen, as you know, now they've got a real decision to make, as they've now got a 2 innings worth of outs to get to try and now hold on to this lead that they've gotten, as that pitch misses outside. 2-2 now the count to Hafner.
Yeah, and interesting to see if Brookline makes a change at the mound here. The bottom of the sixth, if we're able to get here, but this Brookline offense not allowing that to happen, Jesse.
Not
Keeping
yet. Full count now to Turner Hafner, as his patience paid off the last couple pitches. And it pays off in full. High ball 4. Turner Hafner reaches base with his first varsity career walk. And now we cycle around to the top of the Brookline order with center fielder number 9, Elias Brendel. Brendel 0 for 3 so far today with 3 strikeouts. Runner taking off for second immediately, and they're just going to let him go. And so that'll be a high ball 1 as Turner Hafner gets his first varsity career steal. That one inside, and it's going to be ball 2. We know Brendel can be an on-base specialist. If the pitchers make enough mistakes, he'll take advantage of it. Got a 2-0 count so far. That one does hit the zone, strike 1. We also know Brendel got a significant amount of pop in his bat if he can get bat on ball, which he hasn't been able to do today. But if he can do it, you know he can launch one, and he's got 2 in scoring position right now. Takes high ball 3 there. Rosenblatt at third, Turner Hafner at second, 2 down here on the top of the sixth. Brookline trying to add to what is now a 2-run lead. And that's going to be ball 4. And Brendel gets the free pass down to first and loads the bases for the second baseman, number 2, Hugh Bollinger.
Yeah, Bollinger had a nice play earlier in this game, and him or Apollo's who you want in this scenario. You got one of them.
And he's got a shot out to center, and it's caught. It was good contact, but needed to curve that one into left or right center instead of straight away. And that will end the top of the sixth, but Brookline has completed the comeback, and now the pressure is on the defense to maintain the lead that the offense has given them. And we're going to see our first Brookline relief pitcher here taking over on the mound for the Warriors is number 22, Q Miller. Our Wi-Fi is disconnected again because, you know, of course. So we're going to try and reconnect it. I think we got it back there. We'll see if it reconnects. Yep, looks like we got the reconnection back. Okay. Hugh Miller now taking over on the mound here in the bottom of the 6th for Brookline after they completed their comeback in the top half with 3 runs in that inning to go up 6-4. Miller, as you can see with your stats on the screen, 5 previous relief appearances, a 1-0 win-loss record on the mound, 9.1 innings pitched through those previous 5 outings, a 3 even ERA. A whip of 1.39 and 9 strikeouts so far this season. And Brookline 6 outs away now from potentially getting the comeback win. Nikolai Rabiner, currently the pitcher on credit for the win, as he had not been subbed out yet when Brookline took the lead. Miller with a chance to get the save if he can close out this game through these last 2 innings, as he is coming in with a lead smaller than 3. Now first to the plate is the left fielder, number 10, Dan Dreyfus, and he fouls off the first pitch for strike 1. That one gonna miss, slow for ball 1. Brookline has had a couple of other pitchers warm up in the bullpen today. We just saw Ben Cody walking back to the dugout from a warm-up session as Dreyfus fouls that one off for strike 2. So Brookline preparing for the worst. And whoa, 2 balls thrown at Miller, and suddenly this switched from baseball to dodgeball very briefly. But Miller with some good evasive maneuvers to keep himself going. To keep himself okay there.
Yeah.
1-2 the count to Dreyfus. And a hard shot here, but right at Brendel for out number 1. We've seen a lot of well-hit balls today that have just flown right at the fielder. You talked earlier, Nico, and you really hit the nail on the head for this game, as we've seen a lot of really hard contact with both of these teams. It's just a matter of, can you get the placement where you want it to? And a lot of times there's been hard hit balls that have just been right at fielders.
Yeah, but I like this, honestly, from both teams here, Jesse, because for a high school ball, a lot of it is just the ground, hitting it, get a little single or double, but these teams have really tried to attack and go possibly, none yet for a home run, but these doubles and triples are happening for both sides here.
And not much happening for Brookline here, as Miller misses all 3 of the first pitches he throws to Ferguson here. 3-0 hitters count. And Ferguson takes strike 1 there. Wi-Fi kind of floundering on us a bit here. And that's going to miss for ball 4. A free pass for Ferguson. 1 out, and now the tying run at the plate with Alvarez coming to the plate. The second baseman, number 12, Adrian Alvarez. The number 9 hitter with a runner at first. His team trailing by 2, shows bunt, pulls back, and that'll be high ball 1.
Yeah, Miller's got to focus here. He's trying to go for power, but they've mostly resulted in balls here. Miller's just got to wind it down a little bit and get some strikes here.
And this happens a lot. Pitchers at this level get thrown off by seeing the bunt. They want to try and induce a bad bunt, a whiff, a foul ball, a pop-up, or something like that. So they throw pitches that are a little more wild. Not that time, though, as Miller does drop it in the zone for strike 1 to Alvarez. But you saw with those first couple of pitches how he was trying to throw a fastball to a bad spot so that Alvarez wouldn't be able to pull back his bunt in time. And he's not showing bunt that time as he takes strike 2, so the sacrifice play out the window now with a 2-strike count, 2-2.
Yeah, big confidence builder here, play for Miller if he's able to get a strike.
Gets a grounder, it bounces past him. Bollinger charging in, picks it up, throws to first in time for out number 2. And Hugh Bollinger has made a couple of nice charging plays at second base on some slow rollers that got past the pitcher. Those are the kind of plays that on a grass field, those just scream infield hits. You know, a little bit faster on turf gives the second baseman a chance, and Bollinger actually had to kind of bob and weave around Ferguson there to avoid colliding with the base runner, and managed to field that ball and get the out, but did a good job there. Now batting the designated hitter, number 15, Will Pratt, as he chases the breaking ball from Miller that time for strike one. 2 down, but a runner in scoring position now as Weymouth now trying to make the comeback. Strike 2 there, 0-2 the count.
This is big for Miller. We know his partner in crime, Nico Rabner, is really good at closing innings out. See if he can take a little bit from his...
And this one lined out to center. One hop taken by Brendel. Throws for the plate. Oh, just a little bit too slow on the throw to home, and that is going to bring in a run. RBI single for Pratt. Cuts the Brookline lead down to just 1 run.
Yeah, not the best start here. Rabner had some great innings here, but Miller already allowed a run, but just got to calm down here. We know the power he's got. He's just got to control that and put it into some strikes here.
Attempts the pickoff throw, no dice. Now at the plate for Weymouth, the shortstop, number 3, Andrew Daly. Daly 1 for 1 with a single, a walk, and a hit by pitch. High ball there. Throw down to second is not going to be in time. Throw was a bit wild there from Hom. And no chance to get Pratt that time. And now the tying run in scoring position for the Wildcats. And boy, moments like this are what baseball is all about. The tension, 2 outs, tying run at second. Daly slices one into shallow right. Bollinger going back. And it was caught. I completely lost it in the sun, but thankfully Hoffman didn't, as he makes a nice grab out in right to end the inning. Boy, I'll tell you, Nico, it's been murder for me trying to track these fly balls today with this brutal sun out here at Libby Field. But thankfully for Brookline, their fielders doing a pretty good job of tracking it as they escape the jam with the lead still intact, even if just by 1 run. At the end of 6, as we go into the final inning, our score, Brookline 6, Weymouth 5. And during this break between the 6th and 7th inning, I'd like to take one last moment to tell you about our sponsor for today, Esch Dental. Esch Dental, right here in Coolidge Corner, doesn't just focus on smile rehabilitation. Their real passion is smile preservation. If you are ready for a local, sophisticated, sole ownership dental office to take care of your 6-month cleanings, no need to look any further than Esch Dental. You can easily book online at eschdental.com or call 617-566-0103. Once again, 617-566-0103, or go online to eashdentall.com. Top of the 7th, and after Brookline batted around the order in the top of the 6th, they will once again have their 3, 4, 5 hitters coming up. Hom, DePaulo, and Eli Hoffman. Those 3 all came in to score last inning to give Brookline the lead that they are still enjoying, if a bit shorter than when they got done with their offensive business. Now just a 1-run game, but they could add some insurance runs here if they can keep their offensive rhythm going.
Yeah, Hom and DePaulo starting it off here will be the first and second batters coming up here, and those are the guys you want starting off top of the 7th here. See if they're able to get, as you said, a couple insurance runs to make it not just a 1-score game going to the bottom, and not the best start you want.
And not what they wanted, not what Brookline wanted at least, definitely what Weymouth wanted, as they get the 1 pitch out on the 6-3 ground out. Now batting the shortstop, number 5, Jimmy DePaulo.
Yeah, DePaulo's been crucial for Brookline here. See if he's able to add something here. Had the huge triple earlier.
He's been having a spectacular game on both sides. Had the triple, had a nice catch at shortstop earlier in the game as well to rob a potential hit as he takes ball one there. And then, of course, drew a walk last inning and later came in to score on an erroneous throw that went out of play as he takes high ball two that time. And DePaulo with 2 runs scored today. I believe he is going to once again take the team lead in runs scored as he hits a slow chopper back to the pitcher. Schoen picks it up, but the throw is wild and pulled the first baseman off the bag, and DePaulo is going to reach on the E1.
Yeah, another mistake here from Weymouth that is just killing them. 17, the pitcher, he had time. He thought he was going to make the perfect throw, but it was wide left, just kind of a fly ball, and first baseman does well to get there, but not before DePaulo is able to get to first.
Now batting, the right fielder, number 4, Eli Hoffman, as he takes strike one there. And, of course, Hoffman has had 2 really big swings here today. An RBI single to drive in DePaulo after his triple, and then whatever they end up scoring, that batted ball he got last time that brought in a couple runs, pops up here, going to stay in the infield, and it's caught over at third for out number 2.
Yeah, not the best spot Brookline wants to be in. Has a man on first, but Jesse here, 2 outs, only 1 run at the top of the 7th. You really hope here, if you're Brookline, don't want to leave just a 1-score lead to the bottom of the 7th. So just trying to get, as you said, just a couple insurance runs, even just 1.
And trying with Brookline's last shot on offense here in this inning, the designated hitter, number 1, Lincoln Hafner, whiffs on the first pitch for strike 1. Hafner has not had much luck at the plate today, but a hit here could potentially be big. Throw back to first. DePaulo gets back easily. Hafner grounded out to third last inning. As he takes strike 2 there. Quickly behind in the count, 0-2.
Yeah, just trying to be a little too patient here. 0-2 count with 2 outs.
And still too patient as he takes strike 3 there. And that will end the top of the 7th. We are heading into the final frame of regulation of what has been quite the thrilling contest so far. Brookline trying to shut the door here in the bottom of the 7th. They have a 1-run lead, no room to give on the scoreboard, and Q Miller is going to try and get his first varsity career save here at Libby Field. And he's going to be doing it against the heart of the Weymouth order. There are 3, 4, 5 hitters, Pyers, Kelch, and Munchbach coming to the plate here in the bottom of the 7th.
Yeah, but Jesse, these are where closers are made and dreams are made for Brookline here. Coming to this game, I don't think favorited, but Brookline did a great job after a slow start coming back into this game, and they've done well coming back, but this is the time for Miller here to prove himself as a sophomore on this varsity team. He's got to be well here, only has a 1-run insurance, and he's just got to close this out. 3 outs is all Brookline needs here.
Briefly disconnected on the Wi-Fi, but looks like we've been successfully reconnected. So there we go. Okay, that was, a short breakup. I will take that. And, no, come on, come back. Okay, looks like we're okay. Yeah, we're okay. Leading off for Weymouth, number 2, Johnny Pyers. First pitch slices it foul and out of play for strike 1. Hits a hard grounder over to third, fielded well by Turner. Hafner, long throw to first is in time for out number 1. Turner Hafner's made a couple of nice plays in the field at the hot corner over there after taking over following the scary injury to Owen Hoffman earlier in the game. You know, of course, sending our best well wishes to the older Hoffman brother, hoping he is okay. His younger brother has certainly had an explosive clutch day at the plate for the Warriors in his brother's absence, kind of carrying the load that Owen has carried in previous games, as of course he has come through with some big clutch plays in the offense for Brookline at other points in the season, but this time the younger Hoffman stepping up clutch. At the plate is the catcher, number 7, Devin Kelch, currently facing a 1-1 count at the plate with 1 down here in the bottom of the 7th.
2 more needed here for Brookline.
And that one just misses inside. Close shave there around the zone. 2-1 the count. That one catches the high part of the corner, strike 2.
This would be a big out here, Jesse. Nobody on bases so far. To get 2 outs here would be crucial for Brookline.
And that one just missed inside, ball 3. 3 straight pitches very close in the zone, and no matter what, somebody was unhappy with him.
Yeah,
but
not
this
going
one,
Brookline's way.
Now it's going Brookline's way as it goes right Turner Hafner's way, and once again he takes care of business for the 5-3 ground out.
Yeah, Turner Hafner put in a position after the unfortunate injury, and he's really shown out here, Jesse. He's had a lot of plays going his way, had to throw to first a lot, and he's done well. And 1 more out here needed for Brookline to seal this game.
At the plate is Alex Munchbach, as the first pitch from Miller is going to miss outside for ball 1. Again, with how tough Brookline started back in the first, you know, so crazy that they are now 1 out away from victory as Munchbach tips that one for strike 1. Q Miller once again trying to get his first varsity career save as we're disconnecting at the worst possible time. Come on, man. Oh, wait, we're reconnecting. Okay, we're good.
Nothing's going our way here, Jesse.
2-1, the count to Munchbach. That one catches the outside corner, strike 2. The Warriors 1 strike away from victory. Can Q Miller seal the deal here? Just a bit outside, ball 3. Full count, 2 outs, 1-run ball game in the bottom of the 7th. And just missed, ball 4. A 2-out walk for Munchbach, and now the tying run is on the bases as the, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a pinch hitter here in place of the Weymouth pitcher. It looks like that's what we're going to see. I can't quite see the jersey number. I think that's number 8,
Yeah,
Will
it's
Shanahan.
8. Yep.
All right, number 8, Will Shanahan, batting in place of the pitcher, Shome. First pitch from Miller is low for ball 1. He's got to settle in and throw strikes if he wants to get this last out and finish the job. That one does hit the zone, strike 1.
2 more here needed for Miller.
Munchbach leading off from first. Pitch high, ball 2.
Was about to say before that, Miller's done a good job controlling his pitches, but that one a little out of control.
Yeah, can't let the weight of the situation cause him to lose his stuff. That one fouled off, and once again, Brookline is 1 strike away. 2-2, the count to Will Shanahan, the pinch hitter here for the Wildcats. Swing and a miss. Q Miller gets it done for his first varsity career save, and Brookline finishes the mission to get the comeback win here in Weymouth. The final score, the Brookline Warriors 6, the Weymouth Wildcats 5. And boy, what a game it was. You know, Weymouth getting that 4-run lead at the start. Looked like it was going to be just an awful day for Nikolai Rabiner. Just the complete opposite of what he did against Boston Latin last week. And yet, while he ended up with a 6-inning shutout, no decision last week, this time lets up 4 runs in the first inning and gets the win on the mound, as he ended up sticking it out, settling in, and finishing a 5-inning performance, allowing no runs after that first inning. And then Q Miller with 2 innings, 1 run allowed, gets the job done for his first varsity career save. And Brookline takes 1 step back above 500 as they improved to 6-5 on the year, matching the final score of this game.
Yeah, big year for Brookline. As you said, started off the game a little slow, but the hitting just improved tremendously as you moved on into the game. And you like to say some people had a great game, but I think this was an all-around great team effort for Brookline. I mean, you could say DePaulo or Bollinger had a great game, but really I think it was an all-around team effort, and this Brookline team coming in probably as the underdog, at least record-wise, they pull out with a much-needed win to go over 500, and this is a great momentum builder.
Record-wise and certainly history-wise, they lost to Weymouth last year and I believe the year before as well. So their first win against Weymouth in a few years, and certainly a nice one to get. And, you know, we talked about the fielding mistakes that plagued Weymouth. This is really almost kind of the reversal of fortunes of what happened with Brookline at Cambridge last week. Last week against Cambridge, Brookline suffered badly from errors as they gave up a bunch of unearned runs for their pitchers due to fielding mistakes. But today, the fielding pretty nice and crisp for Brookline. I can't think of really, outside of that one error where Felix Hom let the throw home get away from him that allowed an extra run to come in the first inning. After that, no major defensive mistakes for the Warriors. Meanwhile, Weymouth was plagued with them. Infielders, outfielders, dropped third strikes. I mean, a run came off of a dropped third strike because that's what allowed Wycar to reach and later come in to score.
Yeah, totally. And honestly, Jesse, I don't think really the score shows, because if it weren't for that first inning for Weymouth, this game would have been a lot different. And honestly, I think Brookline kept up their hitting momentum. This game could have gotten a lot worse for Weymouth, but Brookline, after the unfortunate turn of events in the first inning, did an amazing job of getting back. And I think this was a great all-around performance from Brookline.
Yeah, I will tell you, we talk about the different guys who have had the great games. The guy that's impressed me the most is Nikolai Rabiner. I mean, I knew that he could, you know, keep cool and calm, you know, with guys on base. But, you know, a real measure of a great pitcher is when you have a blow-up inning, how do you respond? How do you rebound? And for him to respond with 4 shutout innings after that, to me speaks volumes about the mental toughness of this young man. And that is everything for a pitcher, is to maintain that mental toughness. You know, what do you do when things start to go wrong? What do you do when you're 1 strike away from escaping an inning with just 1 run allowed, and then 1 swing of the bat turns it into 4 runs allowed? How do you respond? He responded beautifully, and I couldn't be more impressed with what I've seen from this young man all throughout this season. Even with all the big shutout efforts he's had, this, to me, just brings a new dimension to how impressed I've been with him this season.
Definitely, Jesse, definitely.
All right, well, that's going to do it for us here at Libby Field. Alongside Nico Wise, I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. Thank you once again to our local sponsor, Esch Dental in Coolidge Corner. The team at Esch Dental understands dental anxiety. Some patients just need a friendly face to put them at ease. Others need the help of additional gases or medications to put them at ease. Dr. Esch and his team can help you wherever you are on the journey to find a solution to manage your anxiety. Call 617-566-0103 or go online to eschdental.com to find out more and book your appointment. Once again, 617-566-0103 or go online to easchdental.com jessiesports.com. And once again, you can find that information down in the description section down below, where you can also find a link where you can donate to the Brookline High Baseball Booster Club. You can also find a link and phone number for our local charity spotlight, the Brookline Education Foundation, down in that description section. And you can also find further down there some links related to me that you can also see in the bottom right corner of your screen right there. My personal website, jessiesports.com, where you can find out more about me, the freelance sports broadcasting services that I provide to various teams, and how you can commission those services for your favorite team. Or if you want to skip past all that, you can email me directly with any questions, requests, or comments that you may have. And don't forget to follow me on social media on Instagram and Facebook, where I post highlights from previous live streams. But for this live stream, that is going to do it. Brookline 6, Weymouth 5 from Libby Field in Weymouth, Massachusetts. Alongside Nico Wise, I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. Thank you all for watching, and have a good night.